Hello everybody. How are we doing? Stream working? Yeah, it's working. Preview window. Preview window is being weird. How's it going, everyone? You're good? You having a nice week? I'm having a very busy week. I've done all right. You know, done all right. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you will have seen the thing that I completed very recently. I showed it off here beforehand when it was in pieces. Now it is fully complete and ready to go. So there'll be a video on that very soon. I just have to complete the game for like the 15th time. But I still have to do it for the video, you know? Have to. The sacrifices I make, okay? How big is Malekith? It's quite big. Hang on. I'll go and get it. Why not? Let's do that. Ugh. Okay. So this is Malekith, the Black Blade. And it is roughly 5 inches tall at its highest point. So it's from Elden Ring. It's on my story, Colonel. Don't worry if you haven't seen it. I'll show you now, though. You can have a look. Here he is. So there is Malekith, the Black Blade. All painted. All looking glorious. Thanks, Joe. That can go over there for now. I've got to make a video on it. You're painting a Fortress of Redemption. Well, that's massive. What do I do with a brush that is keeping well, but there is a single hair that seems to bend out? Is it fine to snip it away? Yeah, no, that's fine. What I would recommend, though, is get a pair of tweezers and just try and pull it out. Just that one single hair. Just pull it out, rather than snip it, because what you'll end up with is you might end up with like a half a hair in there, and that will still stick out, and it'll irritate you even more. But just try and use a bit of tweezers just to pull it out if it's sticking out. Is it just a showpiece? It is just a showpiece. It's not for a game specifically. It's part of a video that I'm making that is going towards a bigger video that the wonderful Dark Souls models here on YouTube and Instagram is making. So if you're into that kind of thing, do please check them out. I will go and find their YouTube channel right now. Dark Souls models. I shall drop a link for you. That's the one. There you go. If you haven't already, do check out Dark Souls models. But there's a video that's coming, which I'm not going to spoil. But it sounds like it'd be really cool. And Malekith is part of that. But there we go. Thanks again, Joe. Why is she copying it from you tonight? It's because you want to fight the Trigon. We will fight the Trigon. I've just got to finish this. I promise. So today we're going to be finishing off this bad boy that we started building Last week? I want to say it was last week. It wasn't Monday, was it? Hi Josh, just finished the Fulgrim video. So great. Loved it and can't wait to paint it. Oh, that's awesome, James. Thank you very much for watching it. Thank you to anybody who watched the Fulgrim video. Just put my hand there so that the white balance just sorts itself out for a minute. There you go. So that is how it looks. So we're like 2 steps away from finishing. 2 of those steps are Liberator Gold and Eldari Emerald. Do you ever use an airbrush? No. No, I do not. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then the Emperor's Children video is done. Well, not Emperor. Well, actually, yeah, our Emperor's Children videos will be done. That's it. End of. And it wasn't Monday, was it? Monday we built Sigismund and Evander Garius. It was last Monday that we built the Demon Prince. Or the Wednesday. No, it was the Monday. I can't remember. The days just mould into one. So yeah, this will be our final Emperor's Children video for a while. We won't do any more after this. Maybe at some point in the future we'll do a vehicle. I don't know. But for now, we will be done with everything that's kind of relevant, I think. What comes after the Emperor's Children? The Death Guard guy. I don't know what comes after Emperor's Children. That's for the future. And I don't know the future. After this, my plan is to work on Alfarius. But no plan survives contact with the enemy. So, there was a package that turned up today. But I don't know what's in it, so we'll find out. It's either a thing I ordered or it's a thing that was sent to me. and those are 2 very different priorities. What do you mean EC is done? Where's the Land Raider? Yeah, I'm not going to be buying and painting a Land Raider. Not for now. I've got a lot of other stuff to do. That's what I mean. That we'll be done for now. It's all the stuff that's new, plus the Demon Prince, basically. And that, like, I mean, this is, you want these more than you want Land Raiders. Trust me. In that book, this thing is turbo. It's ridiculous. Do you have recommendations to using Auric Armor Gold plus Liberator Gold as relayer/edge highlights? I generally don't like Auric Armor Gold because it's an older gold. It's not very well formulated. It's very watery. It's very difficult. It's like Sycorax Bronze. Sycorax Bronze is a lovely colour, but I try and avoid using it because it's an older, horrible paint. Liberator Gold, on the other hand, very nice paint, and I use it all the time. I'm actually going to be using it tonight to do some edge highlights. If you want to see how to use Liberator Gold as a layer, you can check out any of the Death Rattle videos that I just did. I use Liberator Gold in that one. They are just, because they're very bright metallics, they are ones that will probably just, if you're going over large panels, will probably require 2 thin coats. But, you know, that's fine. But I would use Liberator Gold rather than Auric Armor Gold. Personally. Not even after that very convincing Land Raider article. I didn't know there was a Land Raider article. Let's go and have a look, shall we? The Land Raider at 25, celebrating the iconic Warhammer tank. It is the iconic Warhammer tank. I love Land Raiders. As you know, I think it's my favourite tank that Games Workshop's ever made. It's legendary. It's a beautiful, beautiful vehicle. But I don't want to buy one for... I've got a Land Raider, but it's the Command HQ tank version. And I've never been able to decide which army it's going to go into. Either Blood Angels or Custodes or something like that. I've just never been able to figure out where I'm going to put it. So for that reason, it has never been painted. It's built, it's just never been painted. And it will probably remain that way until I can pull my finger out and actually do it. But yes, lots of stuff to do. I appear to have lost my phone. Oh, it's the second time I'm going to have to get up. Right, give me 2 seconds, guys. I think I've left it downstairs. 1 second. Obviously. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. We should get him to buy a diamond pony. I'll buy a diamond pony if we have an extremely successful chat. You know, if we have a very, very, very generous live stream. Any thoughts on Colourforge sprays versus Citadel, chat? Newish to the hobby. Appreciate any advice or opinions. They're good. The Colourforge ones are good. They're very good for lots of different reasons. You do get slightly more, and they are slightly cheaper than the Citadel ones. When it comes to contrast painting over the top of them, they are still very good, but they're not as textured as the GW ones. The GW ones are specifically engineered for contrast paint, and the reason I say that is because they feel a little bit more powdery, a little bit more rough, and the reason for that is so that the contrast really clings to it. With the Colourforge ones, they've got a little bit more of a satin finish. So if you buy the Greyseer or the Wraithbone equivalent, what you might find happens when you're applying your contrast paints is you won't guaranteed, but what you might find happens is the kind of paint sort of like rolls away, it sort of bleeds away from where you've just applied it and leaves the primer underneath. So you have to go over it a couple of times in order to create basically a surface for the contrast paint to really stick. So if you use one of those, the Greyseer or the Wraithbone or the white equivalent to do contrast painting, I recommend just give it a really thorough rub with a clean dry brush, or as some people have said in the chat before, use a matte varnish over it after you've primed it, like a proper fully matte varnish. Don't go for a satin or anything like that, but like a matte varnish over the top of it helps deal with that. But yeah, Yamail Angmar with the 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. Boss, absolute boss levels of support right there. Thank you very, very much. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. That puts us on 431. Tomorrow is my 41st birthday, so here's a little gift to this community. Well, happy birthday, Yamail Angmar. Happy, happy birthday. Many happy returns to you and yours. Have you got enough? You got any plans? Got any cool plans? Any exciting plans? Or just, general plans? I nearly said pans. I might have said pans. Did I say pans? Am I asking you about your kitchen utensils? I don't know. It's Wednesday. At this point I've already started to lose my mind. What's your least favourite part of the painting process, Josh? Mine is doing metallics, and by contrast, what's your favourite bit? Mine is doing the highlights. I love doing highlights. My least favourite part of the painting process is priming. Just... basically. I don't enjoy priming so much. I can go there. I have specific parts of models that I don't enjoy painting. Mostly backpacks. I don't like painting backpacks. I never do, because it's the bit that you're never looking at. And as a consequence, you end up spending... When you spend loads of time on the bit that's at the back, it annoys me. Oh, and I also hate basing. I really don't enjoy basing at all. That's why all my bases are super simple. That's why my bases are Sterland Mud, dry brush with Torrent Skull. That's the reason. Not sure we should ask what you were thinking, Josh. Pants. You asking about my trousers? My trousers are fantastic, and you know it. I'm getting the new skeletons on Saturday for a gift, so I'll be using your guides for those. Oh, I've already got you your birthday present then. That's what I like to hear. Right, let's do some recording, shall we? So with all of that silver now highlighted, it is now time to work on our other metallic, which is all the gold, and the colour we're going to be using to highlight all of that is, of course, some thinned down Liberator Gold. There you go. Alright, see you in a bit. Let's just have a chat, shall we? Because I'm now going to do this for the next 20 to 35 minutes, I'm sure. That's what we're going to be doing. Just highlighting gold. It takes a little while, but there we go. So, my question I wanted to ask tonight is, of all the things that are yet to come out that we've seen previewed, what are the things you're most excited for? I want to gauge some interest here. Because now that Emperor's Children are done, the thing I'm most excited for, I guess, is probably... It's between Cathay and the Soulblight Gravelords, like the rest of the Soulblight Gravelords stuff. Because I really like that Vampire on Nightmare Steed model. Oh, I also really like Prince Vordry, of course. And the Revenant Draconith. And the Kato Ezekiel. Mike Blake with the £5 super chat. Is your new Cadian paint scheme for the green Vulcan green followed by Null Oil? Or are there other steps? There's one other step, which is to highlight it with Strachan green. But yes, that is how I have been painting my Cadians. And also, consequently, also how I've been painting my Kassakin. I can show you what that looks like in just a moment. Let me finish off highlighting this sword. Because otherwise I'll forget. But thank you very much for the £5 super chat. That's very kind of you. There is a Kassakin video that will come eventually, though, because I said on Monday there's 5 more for me to do, and I don't really have the time to do them at the moment, because whilst they're not hard, they do take a little bit of time, what with all the freehand that's on them. But I'll show you. Here is a finished one. Bow. So there you go. That is Vulcan green, Null Oil, highlighted with Strachan green. The camo is done with Bugman's Glow and then highlighted with Corax White. I've got 5 more of these to do. You know, they are lengthy boys. So that's why that video isn't anywhere near being ready yet. Are you going to have a video for Vordry? Well, I'd like to have a video for Vordry, Sancho. Sanctifiers and new Tiny Knights and Mechanicum tanks for Legions Imperialis. Yeah, they are very, very cool. Again, Legions Imperialis, tail end of last year, I was really excited for it. I still am really, really excited for it, and I really want to do a bunch of it, but I just need to catch a break. Like, I have a huge mound of it. I got really close to being able to carve out the time to do it as well. Got really close, and then I got absolutely obliterated by the top of the year. Basically, that's 60 days of content. Absolutely obliterated any plans I had for Legions Imperialis, because it was just so crazy the amount of stuff that needed doing. And the amount of stuff that I'm yet to do as well. Like this is the thing. I counted up how many models I've already missed this year in terms of things that I didn't get around to finishing, and it's like in the 60s. And that's like, you know, other halves of the boxes. So like an example of that would be the Snarlfang Cavalry. Snarl Pack Cavalry from the Git Mob army set, or 5 of the Death Riders from the Astra Militarum army set. In fact, there's 6 Noise Marines and 5 Infractors that I haven't done either. We have plenty of things. Always have lots to do. Never enough time to do it in. Boop, 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 ba-doo-doo. New Space Wolves in dark grey or black like Heresy Days. Do you have any Necromunda painting videos? I don't have any Necromunda painting videos, unfortunately. I've never really had the opportunity to sink my fangs into it. Someday that may change. Depends on time and circumstance, as it always does. Like, the reason this Demon Prince is being done is because we are adjacent to the Emperor's Children release time. A bunch of people have asked for it in the past, so it's been on the list for ages. An Emperor's Children Demon Prince. I mean, all of the Demon Princes have been, to be fair. You know, I've talked about it on stream before, like, if there's a video you want me to make, I probably also want to make it, but what I don't have is the luxury of time. And if you release a video that is nothing to do with anything that's going on in the world of Warhammer, it doesn't do very well because nobody wants to watch it. I've noticed it says that you're at 199 minis so far this year, Josh. What's the goal by the end of the year? I'm currently sitting at 69. Nice. My goal is to get at least to 100 done. Well, in theory, if I finish this model tonight, this will tick over to 200, which would be really cool for it to do that. But the goal is 500 miniatures. Which at the moment we're very much on task to do, but you never know what's going to come around the corner and completely hamstring you. Like, for example, if, let's say, Games Workshop decides to release Chaos Knights and Knights 2 weeks apart from each other, and they are releasing let's say they're releasing a big new but very, very complicated and highly detailed model for both of them at separate times, it means you end up spending a week painting one. Well, I end up spending a week painting one rather than a week painting 30, as it were. So yeah, I mean, we're halfway through April now. We will probably almost definitely hit 500 models. Last year we did more than that. We were going absolute gangbusters at the beginning of the year, let me tell you. But as all things come to an end, so too did the streak of painting way too many miniatures. Joe, on the other hand, I'm pretty certain has already cracked like sort of 300 maybe. Joe, if you're still here, let us know. Joe's been painting like a man possessed. Because he's a legend. Oh. 312. There you go. See, Joe is currently smashing. And he's beating my target. Way! But yes, I am this one miniature away from 200. Which would be darned cool to be at 200 already this year. The reason the target, giving us that we're in April and I'm already on 200, so that might seem like having a target of 500 is quite low. It is quite low, but last year, as I said, we did 600 and that was hardcore. I don't want to try. I don't want to shoot for that again, because I've already shot for it once. And arguably you should go for, go big or go home. You should bump the target right to 700 this time. But 600 was a lot to do in a single year. So I feel like adding another 100 there as a target just adds a ridiculous amount of pressure on my shoulders that doesn't need to be there because I've created all that pressure myself. If you see what I mean. So 500 for me is a really good goal, and getting more than that would be dope. But I'm not gonna stress if we don't. It just so happened that model number 600 last year was Fulgrim Transfigured, which made sense, given as he was then previewed for 40k and also, 6 being the number of Slaanesh. Also, again, it was another model that just sat on my desk for a year, in fact, I think. After folks like Cameron donated very generously to the channel for the cause of painting Fulgrim Transfigured. You only had to wait a year. I guess that is testament to just how busy I am. Yeah, there we go. Oh, no. No. There's one last gold bit, which you can't forget to do. There we go. Looking dope. There we go. And that is all the gold highlighted. Cool. Little rest and a full catch-up. I've noticed that Wraithbone Primer is not as easy for me to spray as Gracer. Any tips for Wraithbone? Yeah, it is harder because it doesn't feel like it covers as well. It does. But because it doesn't feel like it's covering as well, you end up spraying more. So really, the thing I would recommend is, normally I say do like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3 passes on an angle when you're priming. So like I've demonstrated in the past where you go like like that. Do 1 less. Do 3 from each angle. It should help. Is it just me, or sometimes do you wish GW would slow down with the releases to help content creators like yourself with pressure and free time to paint what you like? Miniature Marine, that is a very, very interesting question. because from my perspective, oh yeah, I would love to have 2 weeks to paint something rather than a single week. However, we are not an important group of people at all. The customers, you guys out there, you are the most important people. And when Games Workshop has a lot of product they want to shift, it comes out thick and fast, and that's what's happening. So, you know, all of this is a choice, content creation. It's all 100%. It's just it's a personal choice to make it your business and to suffer for your said business. I don't have to do it. I could choose not to. But if I choose not to, I'm choosing not to pay the bills, you see, because I've made this my job. So, yeah, I mean, like, for us, we're just not important people at all. Like, screw us, quite frankly. Screw me, who cares? Obviously, you guys care about, like, my mental health, and I praise you for that. Thank you very much, and I really do appreciate that. And yes, that would be very nice. But remember, all of it is entirely self-inflicted. Like I said, I could have chosen to spend all of last week having only painted the Lord Cacophonist, and that would have been fine. I'd have been involved in the Emperor's Children release. But I didn't. I chose to do Lord Cacophonist, 3 Flawless Blades, Lucius, and Fulgrim, and now this as well. Purely just because I wanted to. See what I mean? Good evening, Mick. I'm at 60-ish. Painted most of my 1600 points of Blood Angels starting in December. Well done, Justin. That's good. That's good going. Any idea why GW preview things months in advance and then don't release it for ages, i.e. Hera from MESBG? Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the marketing hype, right? The Hera preview of Her on Horse was to celebrate that the film was in theatres, I believe. There was a reason why they did that. It was attached to something. It was like, hey, it's now available in the UK or something like that. I can't remember. But there was a reason for it, which is why they previewed it. And it's they will have done that so that during your search engine optimization, if you were Googling War of the Rohirrim, a new article will have popped. Same thing as me. I'm a content creator, right? So if, let's say, well, a good example of this would be, at the moment, everyone's talking about White Lotus. I've never watched it, but everyone's talking about White Lotus at the moment. So if I could make content that was White Lotus adjacent, now would be the time to do it, or a week ago would have been the time to do it, because it would have been really relevant, right? But yeah, and then there's other things that happen with Games Workshop, in that they will sometimes preview something because it is going to be released very soon, and then whatever reason, it ends up not being released because either stuff moves, stuff's been delayed, stuff is ready early, or whatever. It depends on, like, whether something's been successful for them or not. It might be that, for example, let's say they release let's say Space Wolves, right? Let's say Space Wolves aren't actually due to be released until July, post whatever the summer blockbuster product is going to be. Let's say that, right? I don't think it is, but let's say that's how it is. If the summer blockbuster product does really badly, right, on the first week of sales, they'll hoik the Space Wolves up much closer in order to cover the loss made on the big summer blockbuster product, or whatever it is. And I would imagine, like, let's say Lehman Russ is part of that release. He'll come out really darn quickly, not 4 or 5 weeks down the line, or whatever it is that they normally do these days. Why is everyone asking me to do stuff? It's Wednesday. Literally just found out the city I work in has a Games Workshop store. The sun never sets on Games Workshop's empire. I think there was a time where that was true. That the sun was always a Games Workshop store was always open around the world at some point. I don't know if that's true anymore. I think some of them closed. Got to support the local game stores though. But if they have an Emperor's Children box, I'm toast. Yeah, support your local friendly local gaming stores. And when you're there, if you're buying Games Workshop product, buy something non-Games Workshop as well. That will help them as well. Great deal. They'll get better margins on it, that's why. Right. What time are we on? 9:15. I need a small layer brush. Is what I need. Because there are a grand total of 3 gems to put on. We're using Eldari Emerald, for those of you who are curious. Over there. Right. We're going to film this part now. Quiet on set, everybody. And so with that Liberator Gold all applied, we are now going to take some Eldari Emerald. And we're going to apply this over top of all the gems. Of which there actually aren't that many. Which is rather surprising. And then for the base, we will follow along with the same recipe that we've used on the rest of our Emperor's Children, which you can see in the Noise Marines video. I think it is. But the brief recap is basically Black Templar for the Rock, Skeleton Horde for the Skulls, Armageddon Dust, Berserker Bloodshade, Tyrant Skull. That's it. Boom. It's done. Pretty certain. I don't think there's any other gems. And there you go. Emperor's Children Demon Prince. As promised. By your friendly neighbourhood Warhipster. We should probably just do that base. As I just said. That's what we'll do. Looks so good, Warhipster. Thank you, that Ginger Kid. So this is Black Templar, and that goes over the top of the rock. Where should we start? We'll start here. A little bit more Black Templar on my brush before we go up here. There we go. Just got to go between those grippers. Sorry, I'm just concentrating really hard on this for some reason. There we go. We need a tutorial for this chap. It's coming, Craig. So the funnest part of this video has been that we're going to need this in a minute, but we'll get to it in just a second. So we'll let that Black Templar dry, and we need that as well. We have a single clear picture reference for this, just one. I'm going to show it to you now. On this page, that's it. That is the only single clear picture reference that there is in this book for the majority of the Demon Prince. There's a couple of other references in here to Demon Prince I. So like in the main... Right, so in this section here, it's kind of like spot the Demon Prince. So he's there, but you can't really see him. Because it's shrouded in darkness, so you can't see anything that's going on down here. I don't know how well you saw that on camera. Hang on, he's there. There he is. In the corner. And then there's another reference to him as well, somewhere. And what's really annoying is it's not in any of this stuff. Just show me the large picture of the Demon Prince in this book, please. Where is he? Oh, there he is. There he is. Again, not a great reference picture. And he's not there either. And then your next two references to the Demon Prince come in the datasheet, which is next page. Yeah, there it is. Demon Prince. Demon Prince. And that's it. That's the only references you have. It's just like, good lord. Do you think if I did the armor and the glittering myriad scheme that it would still look good with your skin paint scheme for the Demon Prince? Oh yeah, absolutely. Is this the special edition or regular codex? This is the one that came in the army set. It's this one. This is the army set box. But this is him. This is our third Demon Prince on the channel. So we've done this one. We've done a World Eater's Demon Prince, and we've done the Slaves to Darkness version of it, which is the original version when it came out. So they're sort of undivided AOS version. Have you thought of doing a balls out wild coloured prince? No. Maybe someday we'll do a Tzeentch Demon Prince and a Nurgle Demon Prince, but having just done this one, I don't want to paint another Demon Prince for a while. What's your opinion of GW's so-called Year of Chaos so far? I've had quite a lot. The entire Emperor's Children faction. All 3 of the God Legions in one preview stream. And then there's AOS Chaos as well. You have no idea what's coming for that. Everyone forgets about that. They're like, only a couple of things. Well, hold on just 1 second, man. Dear fellow. There's still a lot of AOS factions left to go. You know, if Chaos Dwarves are a thing that happen in AOS, and people still complain that it wasn't a year of chaos, I will be furious. I'll be furious with all of you. I shall tell you off. Good evening, Mini Painting Dad. Because I'm right in thinking that Grand Alliance Chaos has only had so far. We've only had Slaves to Darkness, and we've had Skaven, if that's correct. So there's also Blades of Khorne, Maggotkin of Nurgle, Disciples of Tzeentch, and Head Knights of Slaanesh to come out. And there's the possibility of Chaos Dwarves as well. Which is 5 more Chaos factions. So yeah, I think, yeah, Chaos has had a lot of stuff already this year. And it's only April. It's mad. I'm painting a Tzeentch Demon Prince right now, and I did Doomfire Magenta wings with oranges and yellow highlights with pink skin, so it's pretty wild. That sounds gorgeous, Grey Stang. I love the sound of that. I'm hoping for a Korgos Cool model for Blades of Khorne. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it will happen. I could see it. I think I could see it either happening with the Blades of Khorne Battletome release, or during the next narrative campaign to take us into 5th edition Age of Sigmar. But I think this year is 40k's, not 40k. This year is Age of Sigmar's 10th anniversary, I think. I'm pretty certain it's 10 years old this year. So we could see something spectacular this year. I really hope we do. You guys know this. I love Age of Sigmar. I love it with every fibre of my being. All days. All of the time. Because it's given me so much in terms of my enjoyment of Warhammer painting. It's given me so much. I've painted almost every big guy that you can for Age of Sigmar. I'm missing like 3. Alariel, Nagash, and the Eidolon of Mathlan. I'm pretty certain those are the only 3 I haven't done now. Prince Vordry when he comes out as well, but you know, I will buy a copy of that to do it if I have to. So yeah, I love doing them. They are so much fun. The big AOS models. They take a lot of time, but boy is it worth it. Yeah, because we've even done Gordrak. I guess Rotigus and Kairos also count. They kind of count across both. I don't know what skin to do on the Demon Prince and Fulgrim. I followed the purple metallic recipe. I think if you want, you could follow either of these videos, Dylan. There is also, I will say, I've got there are 4 more skin recipes, 5 more technically, coming for Emperor's Children. We have Lucius's skin. That video will be tomorrow. That might be something that you quite like. Let me show you. Let me show you this Lucius model that I painted. As I recall, it's Dreadful Visage, and then a little bit of Druchii Violet around his face scars and stuff. And then I highlighted his eyes with, I want to say, Emperor's Children. So that is coming. That video will be tomorrow. And then there's these 3 as well. And I know they look very similar, but there is a slight subtle tonal difference to all 3 of them. Which might also help. This video is coming very soon as well. Behold, an Emperor's Children army. And if you would like to see these videos, then please do leave a like on the stream. Because if we don't get to at least 50, I shan't release them. I shall hoard them forever. I won't. Going to Prime with White's Guard, do you have any tips and things to be aware of? Shake it for a little bit longer than you perhaps think you should. The back of the can will say 2 minutes. Shake it for 2 minutes 30. It's white primer. It's good white primer, but it's still white primer. Also, for anybody who hasn't already, you know, this video is now available. The Fulgrim video. At the moment, the Fulgrim video is performing worse than the Barrow Guard skeletons, which is shameful for Fulgrim. Not for you, but for Fulgrim, he's not doing well. You see, Barrow Guard skeletons have beaten him. Which clearly shows that AOS is better performing than 40k right now. Wish I had your steady hand, man. Amazing painting skills. Oh, thank you, Runo. My steady hand comes from planting my hands on the desk, basically. I'm going to do some skeleton horde on these skulls here. My hands are firmly on that desk. Honestly, it's one of the biggest changes that I made to painting. I used to try and paint stuff with it kind of floating in the air, and it just didn't work. This is a while ago now. Ever since I started a YouTube channel, basically, I ended up, because I paint like this with the camera up there, my hands are just firm. My arms are firmly resting on the desk. I don't try and do this. That's why. But as soon as I do that, much better. Also, painting handles really helped me, because it meant I wasn't having to tire out my left hand holding things. Because quite often, the mistake comes from the hand that isn't holding the brush. More often than not, you'd be surprised how often it comes from this hand. Well, in my case, my left hand. It might be your right hand if you're left-handed for painting. But yeah, the holding of the model can often be the thing that causes the mistake. So, like, for example, let's say you're trying to paint under Fulgrim's wing, under here. So you've got to negotiate your brush in here, right? So you're putting your brush in. If you haven't got this hand locked, this hand might be really steady. It might be like fully planted on your chair, and you might be like have it really close, like really tight like that. And you might be just going in to do the thing, but then this hand moves, or your breathing moves it as well. See what I mean? That's very exaggerated, but sometimes you can your breathing hand. Stop breathing. Got it. No. Anchor on the desk, not on you. Or you could just stop breathing forever. You know, that's the other thing. No, don't do that. A 1 hour 26 video is a bit daunting to watch as much as I want to. That's fair. It is a feature length video, but he is a feature length model. It's mostly bumped up by the amount of like kind of slightly longer processes that are in that video. Ultimately, the colors used on that video are not actually that much. I think overall it's about 38, something like that, including primer and technical paints. So a lot of Pterodon turquoise, a lot of Black Templar gets used. But so the reason why the video is that long is because it's broken down into sections. I do the wings, then the body, then him. But rather than the clip being, we're going to work on all the black details, which is going to include the inside of the inside of the wings, at the top of the wings, the outside of the wings, entirety of Fulgrim's snake body and his horns, and we're going to use Pterodon turquoise to do this, and then cut. That would be, it would just be, it's too, like, it's an hour and 20, it's an hour and 26 so that you've got enough of a time to follow it, as it were. But I 100% understand what you're saying. It is a very, very long video. Do you ever go to varnish for your actively used miniatures? No, I don't varnish my miniatures. I saw a question there about how do you base all your models? Is that just texture paint with dry brushing? Yeah, often. It's texture paint with dry brushing. Sometimes there's a shade that goes over top. This one is Armageddon Dust shaded with Berserker Bloodshade, and then Tyrant Skull is the dry brush over the top of the whole thing. I use the texture tools from Games Workshop because I like them. It's a nice little precise whatsamajigger. I'm not entirely certain as to why I took this off the handle already, but I did. Oh, it was to muck about with my toys. Just realised quite how drastically out of focus that was. I do apologise. Filming the basing part is always really difficult because of the angle of the dangle. There we go. Done. Will it been uploaded video to the channel? Yes, it will. Where do you store all those wonderful painted minis? You sure have a lot. Just sort of around. Sort of just live on tables. And in cabinets. Or out in the shed. Eventually I'm going to have to part ways with a lot of them when we move. Oh. I can now do this. Boom. That's exciting, isn't it? $200 gifted members for 200 painted models? Not that you can gift that many at a time. 200 painted models. This week it's been this guy and this guy. So both of a significant size. Malekith and Demon Prince. Who'd win in a fight? I don't know. It would look cool though. That's an Elden Ring fight waiting to happen, right? So no bigger nerd cabinet in the new home. That's a bummer. Yeah, no, there will be when we move. One of the reasons we're doing it is, and one of the things I want out of the move is, one, we want to buy a house, and two, I want to set up a proper studio, which means have lots of storage for lots of lovely models. However, I have probably 2,000 painted models in the house. And whilst I love to keep all of them, some of it I just don't need to, and some of it can go. It's going to be very hard to decide what those things are, but I need to not have to move all of it, you see. Will the Malekith video be uploaded to your channel? Yes, it will. It will be. It will be so. Where did you get the Elden Ring minis? I didn't. Dark Souls Models sent it to me. However, he did tell me today where it comes from. Like, who's the one who makes them. And it is this individual here. Real St 1 or Reals to 1. Anyway, this person right here is the one who made that Malekith sculpt. So I'll show you. It's here somewhere. There it is. So there you go. EC scheme Sigmar burgundy / green tassels lenses, but Croxigor scales or Achillean green for the capes. It's an interesting question. Because if you're going burgundy for the majority of the armour, you probably don't want to go as dark as Achillean green. Because it'll be very, very muddy. Or at least it would be if I did it. My instinct would be Croxigor scales if that's your choice, but I would probably go brighter than that if I was to do that. And I would either keep it as green as well, or if you wanted to go for that sort of bluer texture, I'd probably go as pale as something like Frostheart, and then try and introduce a little bit more of that kind of sea greenness by throwing Coelia green shade or thinning down some Achillean green over the top of it. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Like, I know, and I mean that in the sense that it's Emperor's Children, right? Even if it is a super garish color, that's actually more lore accurate for Emperor's Children. So even if you went like bright yellow, it would make sense because it's Emperor's Children. They're supposed to be less kind of, carnival of color. It's supposed to utterly bewilder you, is what it's supposed to do, as it were. Any tips on how to best store all those minis? Badly. Like I said, I do not store minis very well. Genuinely, I'll see if I can find. This is how a chunk of them are stored currently in the shed. That's just the table in the shed. That's all of my... Well, it's most of my spearheads. Some Imperial Knights. Most of my Hallowed Knights. I believe what you can see just there is a red tray. That's full of miniatures as well. Round this corner here, there's more miniatures. Those tubs are meant to be filled with miniatures, but I need to get some magnetic sheets for them. So yeah, that's how some of them are stored. This has been stored here since it was done. That has lived there since it was done. The Warhound Titan. And then I do have these. They're full. Yep, full to the brim. Archaon's in the bottom. As is Be'lakor. A Great Unclean One. Scarbrand's there. A Bloodthirster. Angron's down here. Over there's Marathi. Talia Vedra. Kragnos. Gobsprak. Norn Emissaries there. Zarek's there. Krondus and Karazai are in here, as is Aventus Firestrike, Ionis Cryptborn. Vashtor is there, Treebeard is there. All my Sylvaneth are in the bottom of the other cabinet. Fulgrim's there. Vizek Scourer's over there. As is Teclis. Other stuff. Croak is over round the corner. How much did the glass cabinets cost? These were, I think they're called Detolf cabinets from IKEA. And they cost £50 per cabinet. They're very cheap. But they don't make them anymore. Or if they do, they don't make them in the black anymore. But like I said, the plan, if and when we move, is for me to put in a big old cabinet and fill it with everything painted. Big question is, where is Fulgrim? Here. Fulgrim Transfigured is round the corner as well. It's in here, but it's just round the corner. Who else? Oh, Iridan the Witness is there next to the can of WD-40. I don't know if you can see it. You see that can of WD-40? That's Iridan just there. And then the Mountain Titans here. On top of the cabinets, it used to be stacked with terrain, but I packed that all into a box and put it out in the shed. Who is your favourite non-Stormcast AOS character? Who is my favourite non-Stormcast AOS character? In terms of what? Like story or miniature? Because in terms of story, I really enjoyed Radukar the Beast in Curse City. Really enjoyed him. I thought he was fantastic. And then I like on tabletop that he used to. I don't know if he still does in the rules, but Radukar the Beast used to. Radukar the Wolf used to turn into Radukar the Beast if you paid for both, as I understood. Once he took some damage or something like that. I can't remember. When it comes to other characters in the widerness, I really like Grungni, or however you're supposed to say it, Grungni or Grungni. There's a really cool set of passages about him throughout Broken Realms, and then also in the Caradon Overlords Battle Tome that came out in 3rd edition. There's lots of cool lore about him. He's really fun. But my man, Gardas Steelsoul is the ultimate. I love him. Do we get a room tour of the new studio when it's finished? Absolutely, you will. Whilst we're doing the new studio, whenever we're doing the new studio, that will be the only content I can make because I won't have a studio to film in. So, I'll be taking you along with me. I'll be taking you on that journey with me as we put the whole thing together. Thank you. Mine is Marathi. I love characters who are selfishly pragmatic, and only thing you know is they are going to excel in their own self-interest. Not a word, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So yeah, the new studio, hopefully, all things crossed, when we buy a house, will be set up in such a way that we'll actually be able to expand the channel. But of course, naturally, when we get to that point, I don't know how much any of it's going to cost. I don't know what all this kind of thing yet. Also, even what the room looks like or how much space I have to work with. We're not that far along with it. So naturally, at some point, I'll be asking for your help out there to get that done. And as part of that, it probably means I have to part with some painted models. But yeah, it's really exciting. I'm very excited to do it. Because it's going to be amazing, and I want to. I've said this before, but I'll speak about it again. What I want to be able to do is create content that is both painting focused and gameplay focused and narrative focused and just general wider hobby focused. And at the moment, I just simply don't have space or a setup to do most of that. I mean, I just showed you the picture of that table. Yes, I have filmed 2 battle reports on that table before, but the room's horrible. It's the shed. It's also painted the colour of urine yellow on the inside, so it makes a horrible looking video. And it messes with the lighting and this, that, and the other. But if I can get to the point where we can start getting all of these models on the tabletop in terms of video games, that would be fantastic. I'd love to do that. It means we can kind of target some content towards that end, as it were. So if for example, we can create entire series of from box to board or something like that, where we take an army concept of something that somebody wants to see, sprue review it, show you how to paint all of it, and then show you how to play with it, and do the whole thing from start to finish. Which is honestly, it's my dream. It's my dream to make content that way, and for that to be the workflow for how it eventually ends up. But I'm just not set up to do that. Can't wait for the rest of the EC vids, especially the blades. They look amazing. Appreciate the channel. It has taken my painting to a whole other level. Do you have a painting Instagram, etc.? I do. I am on Instagram as Warhipster. I also have a Discord. The Discord is a benefit for either becoming a Patreon subscriber or a YouTube member. But in there is also even more cool people doing cool things. I'm here on YouTube, naturally. I do also have accounts on Blue Sky and Threads, but I'm not really active on them. I just have them so that somebody doesn't nick them and start posting weird things like, I think the best thing in the world are Stormcast painted as Space Marines. And I'd be like, that's not my opinion. Geek Mandem, incredible name. I'm almost done with the rattlings from your video. Has taken some time, but I'm getting close. Yeah, the rattlings were a real time sink. I didn't enjoy painting them. They were very, very fiddly and tough to do. I was pleased with the final result, and they are fun models. It's just when you've got, what was it, 11 of the? No, it's 14 models, because there's the booby traps and stuff like that as well. You've got 14 models to do for a video, and there's kind of all this sort of different stuff all over the place. It just makes it an absolute hassle. It's why the Sanctifiers is a video that hasn't been filmed yet. They're built, and they are primed. But the Sanctifiers are 11 models, and they're all different. And according to the box art, they're all painted different as well. So it's more of it's just a real painful video to make. I was doing those next, lol. Yeah, no, I haven't got to them yet. I did the Goremongers because they were easy. We've already done Jackals before, so Goremongers was just the next step up. And the Shrine statue I've done before as well. You just finished yours, Suji? What, your Sanctifiers? Your Rattlings. Fair enough. Like I said, I was really happy with the final result. I often am, like, if something's really complicated to do, I'm very happy with the final result. It's just getting through it. And, like, because my brain is the way it is, when something is a huge undertaking, I will just stop at the final hurdle and then take ages to do the last step. So the only reason that Demon Prince is done is because I was doing it on camera now, live. I didn't want to take the entire 2 hours of the stream to basically finish off by doing 3 gems, and then I'd do the basing afterwards. Do you see what I mean? But yeah, that's my brain just immediately gives up. I lose all energy to finish a model, which is probably ADHD, but let's not go into that. It's hard work. And so when it comes to something like Rattlings, when each model is, or Sanctifiers in fact, when each model is slightly different, that's going to happen for all 11 of them, and it's just going to be a real energy drain for me to make, which is why I just didn't make it yet. I will make it eventually. I've been going really well on kill teams. I've done a lot of them since they've been coming out the last few months. It's just Sanctifiers. I just haven't done them yet. Pip to number 42 with 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. That is very kind of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is legendary. 436. Let's go, baby. We are 14 away from 450. And there's 82 people watching. We did get 66 likes. Well done. That's 1/6 off the number of the beast. It's the number of the bee. Hi Josh, sorry for not speaking much today. Have the con crud. It's okay, Captain Mannerings. By con crud, is that like fresh as flu? You got the illness that comes from being around too many people. Any tips on brush control for painting thin, straight lines for freehand? Yes. 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 Yes, I do. Some of the best advice I've ever been given about doing that exact kind of thing is you want to always be making the brushstroke has to come towards you. The most comfortable way for you to do your brushstroke is towards you. Pardon the terrible lighting, but when you try and do a thin straight line in any other direction that isn't straight towards you, you end up creating a curve in your wrist. Basically, the very natural way that the very natural way for the movement of your wrist is thusly, right? So if I put my hand like this, right? That's how you're, thingy. So an unnatural movement is to try and do that. See what I mean? Whereas a much easier thing to do is coming straight towards you. It's not 100% straight. So when you're trying to do thin straight lines for freehand and stuff, your brush stroke ought to be like this pen. You want to come towards you rather than trying to go or like that, or God forbid this way. Okay. The other thing that will help you when doing straight lines is guide markers. And the point about guide marker is, let's say you want to draw a line that goes from this corner, right, to that corner there. The best thing you can do is along that line is go and just add the dots. Like that sort of thing. And then join the dots up. Like that. It's a little bit wobbly, but you can see it's a lot straighter. So if you're going something like 1, 2, 3, 4, join the dots. Rather than try and do the whole thing all the time. Edward Hodgson, thank you very much for becoming a member. Incredible. That puts us on a mighty 437. Honestly, the guide dots are the thing that really rescued me. If you check out my, what are they called? Ogroid Therodon's middle model painting guide. This one right here. That shows you basically how I do it. But yeah, the dots and stuff is one thing that I learned, because it gives you something for your eye to aim at. And obviously it was quite a rough demonstration there with the pen on the paper. But essentially, like, it's a little bit, in many ways it's easier with a brush because it's a lot narrow and you can see more of it. But yeah, that Ogroid Therodon's video, I paint that entire banner in freehand. And that's, you know, that's about dots and this, that, and the other to figuring it out. Hello, Chris. There you go. Okay, question. Your pink. It's volupus and then thinned. EC pink with fulgrim pink. It just doesn't turn out like that for me. What happens for you? Cheers all. First beer of my Easter vacation. Cheers to you too, Mini Painting Dad. Enjoy your vacation. The Emperor's Children pink scheme I have is a roughly 2 parts Lamian medium to 1 part volupus pink mix. Then it's a glaze of Emperor's Children if you need it, and if you don't need it, you don't need to do it, and then it's highlighted with fulgrim pink. Yeah. More like a dark pink, not the light pink. I see what you're saying. I would maybe recommend putting a 3rd brushful of Lamian medium into your mix. It might be that you just don't need to do the Emperor's Children glaze. The Emperor's Children glaze is there to... I mean, it will make it a little bit darker. It will kind of punch that colour up. It will do that. It's there to help glaze out any mistakes if someone's got a blotchy, splotchy finish. But yeah, a 3rd 3-to-1 Lamian medium volupus pink mix. That'll give you a really light pink. For sure. Are you doing it over Grey Seer? Or are you doing it over Slapchop or a Zenithal Prime or something like that? Because that can also be a reason why it's not working. Grey Seer, yeah. Yeah, and again, another way to make it brighter would be to use White Scar, or to make it warmer, which would in turn make it feel brighter, would be to use Wraithbone. Grey Seer will make it feel darker than Wraithbone, for sure. I can probably just quickly demonstrate that, actually. Over this poor victim of a Space Marine. Okay, so the lupus pink, 1, Army medium. Okay. So here is a Deathwing Space Marine. This is our 2-to-1 mix of Larmian medium and Volupus pink, and we'll just apply this over this shoulder. So that's it over Wraithbone. And then there you go. It's a minor difference, but there you go. Grace here, Wraithbone. I'm not sure I have any White Scar primed miniatures nearby. There you go. Wraithbone I use if I want to push warmer tones, and Greyseer for colder colours. That is exactly correct. I went with Greyseer on the Emperor's Children because, to my eye, and my eye might be very different from yours, let's remember that. To my eye, the pink is quite a cold, unforgiving pink. It's not got all of those tones of warmth in it. But Wraithbone was a very close consideration. The thing that pushed it towards Greyseer in the end was that all of the skin for Slaanesh, excuse me, is very, very cold. And the things like the black armor and stuff is very dark. It's very sleek. So I went Greyseer, but Wraithbone was just as good a contender as well. Yeah. Yeah. It's that same debate. Like, there is a video to be made, I just don't know how to make it, about why people, the question that will come up very often is if it's let's say you're painting something like you're painting gold Custodes, why would you not just prime it gold, given as most of the model is gold? And the reason is because I'm a contrast painter. So it's much quicker for me, in my mind, to apply the Retributor armor than it is to spray it Retributor armor, because I don't have to go in and pick out all the bits I don't want to be metallic, such as belts, helmet plumes, cloaks, the soft joints in the armor, the gun casings, grips of weapons, and the sentinel blades and all this kind of thing. The Custodes power weapons, basically, and also any white like ropes and stuff like that. all of that's more of a pain in the arse for me to go in and reprime it with Grey Seer than it is for me to just do the whole thing with Wraithbone and paint the gold in, because the gold's the easy part. And it's the same thing for, like, if you were to do same thing for like an Iron Hand Space Marine with a white cloak. It's, to my mind, the cloak's the harder thing to do than apply black paint. So rather than priming it Chaos Black and then painting the cloak with a combination of Celestia Grey, Ulthuan Grey, Grey Seer, Corax White, White Scar, and getting all the way up there, it's much quicker to prime the whole thing Grey Seer and throw Nuln Oil over the top of it and highlight it with Corax White than it is to do all of that up from black. You are saving yourself time by not applying Black Legion, but you're adding time by having to reprime a cloak by hand, which is then prone to mistakes, because if you don't quite thin down your paint enough, you will cause tide marks, you will cause problems of a different nature, which is why I do things the way I do things. If you're painting, say, Alpha Legion, even with contrast, I would still go for a silver base. See? I respectfully disagree. The reason being is that depending on what you're doing, there's all of the leather pouches, there's the soft joints in the armor, there's capes and all that kind of thing. All of that's present, but if at any point, so if and often the advice, and the other part of this is, I will say, and I'm not saying you're wrong by any chance, by any stretch of the imagination at all. If you prime it with silver, often you are advised to give it a coat of the same silver, so you haven't saved any time. Not really. And I like to build up my silvers from Iron Warriors, and Iron Warriors does not come in spray format. Lead Belcher does, and Lead Belcher is much brighter. So I don't want to give it a Lead Belcher primer coat, because I don't want Lead Belcher to be the silver standard for everything that I do, which is why I don't really use the metallic sprays. But also the metallic sprays tend to have a glossier slash satin finish, which then, once, as we've talked about it earlier at the top of the stream, once you then start trying to apply contrast paints to it, it just goes goodbye, and it all beads up and it flows away. So you have to, so that's why you have to then give it a kind of prime of matte white. And I understand, like some people out there will say, well, it's great, you know, it's quicker to do the primer of the silver and then coat it with silver than it is to prime it with Grey Seer and then coat it with silver. And it's like, well, time is much of muchness at that point anyway, right? You know, which would you rather do is the question. I use a Vallejo metallic can. Fair enough. Where can we share work with you? Discord? You can drop it in the Discord. I see it in Discord eventually, yeah. If you send me stuff and I don't see it, it's because I'm flooded with notifications all of the time, and I have to put my phone into like do not disturb or airplane mode sometimes to not be disturbed by it. Essentially, they still haven't announced Hera. This is my habitual comment to associate my name with me. Blaster Daddy sells horses, he's a rancher. They have not announced Hera yet, no. Have faith. Blaster Daddy. Trust me, it's coming. It is coming. It's on the way. When Privateer Press was doing War Machine, they mandated black base coat for all the artists for common practice. I think the key is just come up with a common scheme for the army you're doing and stick to it. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Yeah, there's and like I said, always paint how you're comfortable painting. Do whatever makes you happy. I would say, if you weren't me, who loves contrast painting, and I love contrast painting, which is why I gear my channel towards contrast painting, which is why I use Grace here and all that all the time. If I wasn't doing that, if I was to do a Custodes army again, like I used to, I had a Custodes army that was primed with Retributor armor. Because I was using Mephiston red to paint in the capes, not Baal red and Blood Angels red. That's how I was doing it. I prefer to be known as he sells horses. Got it. Not Blaster Daddy. I understand. He sells horses. Fingers crossed we get the new MESBG book soon. I agree. Again, I don't think it's far away. I really don't. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 4 weeks. That's what I'm gonna say. Middle-earth strategy battle games. You said that 2 months ago. I know, but that was because I didn't realise there was more stuff coming. 2 months ago, they went, here's Hera, and I was like, sick, it's on its way. And then they went, oh yeah, by the way, here's the Hobbit catapult. And I was like, okay, something different's going on here. And then they were like, here's Bolg. And they were like, here's Imrahil. And then they're like, here's Beachbone the Ent. And I'm like, well, damn, something's happening. There's more to come, I'm sure. There is plenty of MESBG on the way. I think that's why. I think they're teasing us. It's been the slow build-up. Plastic Azog Gwen. I would be surprised if there isn't Plastic Azog alongside Plastic Bolg. But I have been wrong before. I'm going to buy Warhipster another Bard's Family for every week GW doesn't release Hera. Please don't. Why must I suffer? That should motivate me. Motivate me to what? To release the new one? I don't have the new one. I have no control. If I could, I'd release everything MESBG right now, but I'm not in charge. Talking Iron Warriors from my Stormcast, I primed Gracie 1 coat of Iron Warriors, but then 50-50 Black Templar, which darkens and high streaks on the Iron Warriors at the same time. It does look very good. Did you ever paint your other Hera? No. I'm going to paint that Hera when new Hera comes out. Is the plan. Where is that Hera? She was there. Is she on the ground? It doesn't look like it. I'll do all the Heras in one video. Hera Bride of Death and Hera on horse. Hera-ing. Where is she? Oh, she's there. Bosh. Alongside Glorfindel. I love your prosecutors videos and was wondering how you could do the wings in green. Like striking Scorpion green, but I can't find a good blend/colour for the darker colour. Love your content. Thank you very much, BT. Have you looked at any of my Necrons videos. Because my Necrons videos might be just the ticket for you. For the green. Alternatively, you can do Striking Scorpion green. And then blend it into... Your best bet is probably either Orc Flesh or Dark Angels green if you want to go really dark with it. One of those two. Or all three. Striking Scorpion green all over. Wait for it to fully dry. 1-to-1 of Orc Flesh and Contrast or Lamia Medium, whichever you prefer. Blend that over the top, and then 2-to-1 Contrast Medium or Lamia Medium to Dark Angels green for the wingtips. That would work. The other alternative is maybe something like the green on the Pyregeists, but I can't remember how I did that. I don't think I did any blending on those flames over. Hey Warhipster, will you do Nagash? Yeah, one day I will. I have a Nagash to do. Elves of Middle-earth is same time frame with Fellowship, and you're taking the hit of MESBG at once, right? Yeah, it is. It is. It was maybe going to be this week. I was going to be able to do one of them, but again, I don't think I can do it this week. Next week, I might be able to do some of it, or at least get started on some of it. But again, there's a thing I have to do next week. I'm not here this weekend is the thing. So I'm trying to get videos done for next week so that it's ready to go. And then the week after there's a thing, and then and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's a really difficult balancing act at the moment. Rest assured. There's stuff on the way. How would you recommend doing a birch dryad for Sylvaneth for a winter themed tree folk? Let's have a look. Birch theme. No. Birch trees. The lovely whitened bark. So like a silver birch tree is quite simple in many ways. What I would recommend is getting it down to a dark grey and then giving it a heavy dry brush of pallid witch flesh to bring it right up to that silver birch. Because generally silver birch has got like it's almost like black spots on it. It's not quite, but like a dark grey or a dark cold brown like wildwood or something. But you then want to put in that sort of whiter outer bark onto it. So somewhere in the region of pallid witch flesh, because it's not pure white. Pallid witch flesh has that sort of lovely off-white finish to it. You could go for a dry brush up to something like grey seer. Grey seer would also work instead of pallid witch flesh, but pallid witch flesh would be bright enough to be able to counteract the darker colour. Is basically how I would do it. Hello, more Mythil Wrist. Anyway. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 25 to 11 at night, which means we've been streaming for 2 hours, which means we are done for the evening. We finished off the Emperor's Children. We even got his basing started. It will be shaded with Berserker Bloodshade. It will be dry brushed with Tyrant's Skull. And then it will be done. And this video will be with you next week, alongside Malekith the Black Blade. So these two videos are on the way. So this is going to be a real fun week of content right there. These two videos. But it is on that note that I must bid you adieu. For I am going to go and... Well, I'm going to go and work on the next thing after this, which I can't tell you about. No, sorry, I cannot. But thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight, and we will be back tomorrow with a painting video. Contrast plus how to paint Lucius the Eternal, I am sure, is the video that will be tomorrow. Unless I decide to make it the Flawless Blades. I haven't decided. Elden Ring minis. That's correct, Lockie. We have one Elden Ring mini. Malekith the Black Blade. But there's a video coming for that. And we might do some more Elden Ring stuff in the future. Depends on how... If this one goes down well, we'll definitely do more of it. I'll talk to Dark Souls Minis about doing more projects with them. But yeah. Anyway. That's it. I'll see you later, chat. See you tomorrow for a painting video. Yeah? Cool? Excellent. Bye for now. Love you, chat. You're beautiful. Keep being beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!